If you send coach requests but hosts do not accept them, maybe you should change something in the way you do it. If you want to learn how to always get hosted on Couchsurfing, then you are in the right place. Hello everyone, my name is Anna and today you will learn how to write the perfect couch request. We will prepare an effective request template that you can use in the future to minimize your time spent on preparing requests for your new trips. In the beginning of the video, we will talk about important things that you need to take into account before writing a couch request, and then we will move on to writing the actual request. You should always remember the main idea. In your coach request, you need to show the host that you've read his profile and that you are genuinely interested in getting to know him and spending time particularly with him. It is important to show that you are not just looking for a free place to stay. So always personalize your request. Never copy-paste the same message to all hosts in the city. For example, do not write something like, "Hey, I'm planning to visit your city and I'm looking for a place to sleep on Friday evening. Can you help me with that?" This request is not personalized and it shows that you want to use host home as a free hotel. Please always remember that Couchsurfing is about meeting different people, learning from each other and sharing cultures. So, your request will not be effective if you are just asking a host for a place to sleep. Because Couchsurfing is about spending time with people and not about sleeping for free. Most hosts will not even reply to such requests or they will decline it. Though it will seem obvious for many people, I need to mention this. Please be polite and request a coach, do not demand it. One host told me that he received such request. "Hi, I'm very tired and I need a place to stay." So what if a person doesn't bother to personalize his request and doesn't add any information about himself? Why should a host welcome him into his home? Just because he is tired and needs a place to crash for that night doesn't mean that the host has to accept him. So you should always be polite and ask rather than demand. No one owes you a place to stay. When you write a request, it will be evaluated against other requests hosts are considering. And study host profile. First of all, it is important for you. You need to make sure that you really want to stay with this person and that you are going to be safe at his place. I gave very important information on safety in my video, How to Choose a Couchsurfing Host. Also, you need to read host profile in order to write an effective coach request. Okay, let's prepare your coach request. Of course, this is not the only way to do it, but it definitely works well. Very often, I send only one coach request. If the host is available, usually he accepts it. I was able to find hosts in all places I traveled to, so these tips work. You will just need to adapt them to your personal style and preferences. So let's start. Let's assume that you already chose a host and studied his profile. So what should you include to your coach request? Always start your request with a personal greeting. Use the host's name. No one would really like to answer a message starting with "Hi there" or "Hey you." And make sure not to misspell the host's name. This happens more often than you would think, especially if you go to a very foreign country, the language of which you do not speak. Not to make a mistake, it is better to copy and paste the host's name directly from his profile. So make sure that you use the right name. The worst thing is if a host receives a message with another name, which shows that this was just a copy-pasted message and the server even forgot to change the name. So always double check that you wrote the correct name. The first part of the request will not be about you, but we will focus on the host. Show that you are genuinely interested in them and that you read their profile carefully. I usually look through their profile, trying to find 3 or 4 things that I find really interesting about them, and then I comment on these things in my request. You can even do a top 3 or 5 reasons I want to stay with you, and then list the things in their profile that interested you most. Sometimes you can also do it in a funny way. A little humor is always cool. Write why you want to stay with them in particular. Find some common points. You can mention food or drink that you both enjoy, hobbies, photography, hiking, sports, music, movies, etc., or countries that you visited. This is my example of how the request can look like till this point. And if I cannot find some specific things that I find exciting about the host, I write something more general, something like, hey, we both like traveling and meeting new people. This is true for all Couchsurfers, I guess, and usually everyone mentions it in their profile. When you write your request, I would recommend you to have lists or small paragraphs with spaces between them so that the text is easy to skim and can be easily and quickly comprehended. Do not write the whole request in a hard-to-read one-paragraph format. Also, I want you to notice a key point here. So far, I didn't mention myself, my needs, or my travel plans. Instead, I focused on the host and wrote why he is interesting for me and how we can connect with him. If you place the host before you place yourself, it makes a huge difference because it sends the implicit message that I find you interesting, and if you are free, I would love to stay with you. But if you write your request the other way, it will send the implicit message, I would love to stay with you because it's convenient for me, and I find you interesting, which is not as good as the first method. Check if there is a code word in host's profile. Some Couchsurfers include a code word or phrase to About Me or Home section, and they ask everyone to mention that word when sending a request to them, as an indication that you've read their profile. Not all hosts do this, but some do, because there are so many copy-pasters who won't bother to go through the host's profile and send a very generic request, or what is worse, a request that was meant for someone else entirely. This is very bad Couchsurfing etiquette. So if you see that there is a keyword, use it in your request, and if you do it in some creative or witty way, it's even better. It will show that you are a fun-loving and easygoing person, and most likely anyone will happily host you. Then write a few words about yourself. Write who you are and where you are from, maybe what you do in life. You do not need to write a whole essay about your life here. 2 or 3 lines will be enough. But you can include any interesting facts about yourself that you think are worth mentioning. If you are traveling with someone, your husband, friend, sister, or anyone else, you should introduce them the same way too. The host wants to know who his guests are. Of course, he can check your profile if he wants to know more about you, but you should give a general idea of who you are in your request. Also, if there are people traveling with you and if they have Couchsurfing profiles, send the links to their profiles in your request. And make sure that their profiles are filled out and have pictures. If they don't have Couchsurfing profiles, include a link to their Facebook, Instagram, or any public social page. This shows that you are real people and gives your host more confidence in hosting you. After that, tell the host about your trip, write when you are coming, how you are getting there, and explain why you are coming to their city. Write if you are going to be there for business or if you are traveling for a vacation. Maybe you are on a one-year trip around the world, or maybe it is just a weekend getaway to see a new city. Are you coming for a concert, a conference, a layover? It is good to point out 1 or 2 things that you are planning to do during your visit, or some places that you are excited to see there. It is nice to be specific here, but if you really don't have any idea of what's available in the area you're visiting, you can say something open-ended, like, I would like to experiment with tasting local food and exploring less known areas of the city. Give the host an idea of what you will be doing during your visit. Most hosts do not want to be a tour guide every minute of your stay, but still, the host will appreciate if you write about your planned activities. It will give him ideas on what your interests are, and he will probably want to schedule some activities with you. So it will help him to schedule his time with you and with his own personal things. Do not write your entire itinerary here, but mention your plans in 2 or 3 sentences. Then write how long you are expecting to stay with the host. The Couchsurfing application already requires you to fill in your expected dates of arrival and departure, but sometimes it's good to make it more explicit. I would recommend you not to send a request for a long period of time. I think that from 1 to 3 nights is the best option. Later, if you get along with the host, they can invite you to stay longer. It is usually more difficult to find a place if you send a request for a longer stay. The hosts might not be available, or they might not want to agree to that as you never met before, and there is no guarantee that you will be comfortable together. Still, if you want to request a whole week, for example, you can include a note saying, I will be grateful if you are able to host me for any of the nights requested. This way, they might host you for a few nights to see if you are a good fit. If you are, there is a good chance they will host you for your original request. If you have 0 references or you don't have any surfing experience, I would definitely mention it and try to use it to your advantage. Write about your discovery of the Couchsurfing platform and why you are excited by it and want to try it. You can say that you are trying to do something new in your life, that you are looking to step out of your comfort zone or hoping to meet with local friends in a unique way. You can even mention that you would like to talk on the phone or over Skype as an informal preliminary screening. It is also good to write why you are a good guest, especially if you're going to surf for the first time. People would like to know that you are a clean, respectful, and tidy person. Then think about the value that you can offer hosts rather than what they can offer you. You can write that you can practice a foreign language with them, maybe teach them how to play the guitar, how to dance hip-hop, or you can offer to cook a meal from your country. Hosts are opening their homes to you for free, so think what you can offer them in return. But never offer money on Couchsurfing. Remember that this is a free hospitality platform. When finishing your request, remember that you should always keep it open-ended. Do not make your host feel obliged to host you. You can write something like, if you are free on those days, I would be really happy to stay with you. And if you are not, no issues. I hope we can still meet up for a coffee and talk. Okay, we did it! Now your great coach request is ready. You know, longer requests always attract hosts' attention, because as a rule, they are the best requests. Of course, if you fill your request with lots of blabber, it will not do you any good. But as a quick judgment, if you have a long request, it is more likely that a host will read it and take your perspective seriously. Of course, you should remember that a good coach request doesn't guarantee you a coach. Even if you write an amazing, personalized message, some hosts might not answer you at all, or they can decline your request. Some people will not be able to host you at that specific time, and some hosts have so many messages, they just cannot keep up. But by sending such requests, you will make a great first impression. You will stand out of the crowd. And if a host is free and feels like hosting someone, he will rather host you than anyone else. I usually send only one request and it gets accepted, but if the host is not available or doesn't answer within several hours, I send the request to another host. Some couchsurfers send requests to many hosts at a time, thinking that it will maximize their chances, but you will not need to do it if you write a good request. Plus, sending multiple requests takes too much time and effort. I would say only if you are really short of time. If this is a last-minute request, then you can probably send it to several hosts. Just don't forget to always follow up. If a person writes that unfortunately he is not available now and cannot host you, thank them for their reply anyway. Send them some nice message. And if a host offers you a coach, but you already agreed with another host, then write him about it so that they are not expecting you. And if your plans change and you have to cancel your stay with someone, write about it to the host as soon as possible. Remember that there is a real person on the other end who is offering a stranger to stay in their home for free. So don't make him change his plans for you and then break them not showing up. So you can use the request that we prepared as a template. You will just need to change the part where you write about these things specific to that host. Why you want to stay with him and what you can offer specifically to him based on the interest in his profile. And of course you will need to change the name. But the other information, the facts about you, your trip and logistics will stay the same. So it will not take you much time to prepare a request for another host. You do not have to write your coach request from scratch every time. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you for watching this video. I also recommend you to watch these videos about Couchsurfing. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, to like this video, and I'll see you soon!